You're listening to episode 152 of the Super League Pod, bringing you all the stats, news and fan reviews and a Jack Walker deep dive, as well as all the latest results and some trivia you can play along with at home. All on your favourite podcast, the Super League Pod.
Strap yourselves in, kids! Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 151 of the Super League Pod. That's right, isn't it?
No, mate. We're going to address what happened last week before we get any further. Laugh it up.
I'm very, very sorry for forgetting that we'd moved the podcast to Sunday and going out on that Sunday and drinking in the park and listening to bands all day. I am very sorry. And I'm smiling at you now, but we've talked it out prior to the show, so I feel like we can laugh now. Feel like we can laugh.
We're not quite there.
Right. Well, this is just fight or flight response then, so I'm just smiling out of embarrassment. Sorry to you particularly, as I'm certain you'll want me to, and I absolutely want to apologise. That's publicly for letting you down, and
that's what I was looking for out of this little session of this. Yeah, thanks for everyone who got in touch.
There we go.
After last week's solo episode, I've not listed down all the bits of individual feedback, but it was a tough one to start because I wasn't expecting to have to do it on my own.
No.
And it's been a while since I've done one.
Yeah.
Like that, so that's why it was a little bit like slow build up.
Bit like having a wank. I guess. Tough to start with on your own because you're not used to having to do it for a while. Are we not making jokes yet?
No, I didn't know that wanking was particularly tough.
Well, no, I'm trying to shoehorn it in. Not tough to get started, but tricky to get. No, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be funny and try and jolly it along, I think.
Well, no, I'm just thanks for everyone for encouragement, and I'm sure Tom appreciated the totally misplaced concern.
Yeah, it was utterly misplaced, and I was very embarrassed. So I'm getting round. I'm going to check my Twitter feed personally.
But he's apologised, and we move along.
The people that reached out to me and that were concerned about my general well-being, it's very much appreciated, and in broader senses, it's lovely to see. But yeah, very much misplaced. But please, don't let that make me the boy who cried wolf for in terms of your responses to other people, because other people might need you to rally around them and not be
of course
abjectly selfish pissheads like me.
But we've
such is life, and we've addressed it.
We've moved on now.
I'm led to believe you did an admirable job. I couldn't bring myself to listen. I think I grew
into the show as it went along. But yeah, it was okay. I think it misses the pattern of the back and forth, so I didn't really get into too much detail explaining the week I'd had before, how I'd been to the Swinton Lions game on the Sunday afternoon and that sort of stuff, and I don't think I told anyone where I was going camping and that sort of stuff.
Which is all things that we'd have talked about if I'd been there.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, how's your week been this week?
Well, I've been away.
Excellent. Tell us all about your holiday, because I've seen some lovely pictures.
Yeah, we've been to Kettlewell in the Yorkshire Dales. It was where we were camping, and when I was doing some family research stuff last year, it turned out some of my potential long lost ancestors had been landowners and stuff in that valley, in the Wharfdale.
Oh, I see.
Valley.
Wow.
Or Dale, as you Yorkshire people call valleys.
Yes.
So yeah. So I.
You're picking up the lingo now. You figure out you're one of us.
Well, I always was aware there was a hereditary burden to carry, but yeah. So we went there, and we also went on a afternoon when it was a bit worse weather. We went down towards the Bradford area where some of my other family from. Tried to go grave spotting basically, but I realised all my family were too poor to be in marked graves. And,
this is going a different way to how I expected.
And they all would have
genteel Yorkshire Dales holiday.
But we went in a churchyard in Bradford, and they had goats knocking around in the churchyard.
Not ghosts.
No, goats.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, the animal. Yeah.
Not ghosts.
No.
Right.
That was weird. But we went to Saltaire and saw the David Hockney exhibition. They've got the big exhibition up of his iPad drawings of the winter through a North Yorkshire countryside lane through the winter, and they're amazing.
Right.
Like blown up huge after he'd drawn them on his little 10-inch iPad.
Yeah.
And you'd think that's not art in the traditional sense, but it really was quite amazing, especially when you stood back and saw all the colours and the stuff that he was able to create.
Fantastic.
So that was good, and had a little bit of a walk around the World Heritage Site and stuff. We went to Bolton Abbey,
yes,
as well.
Favourite of mine.
That was nice. Walked around a bit. We did a big walk one of the days, sort of up the Dales Way from Kettlewell, and then up Buckden Pike and back down the other side.
Okay.
That was good.
Very good.
That was pretty much
enjoyable.
Most of it. Yeah.
Enjoyable holiday.
So that was my holiday.
Fabulous.
And then there was Wigan Leeds.
Yeah, tell us about that, because that was special for it in its own right, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I got to hang out with the legend that is Mr. #NowThenLads himself, the maestro of the music, Richard Wilkinson. So and his dad and his friend, and I feel really awful because his friend's name escapes me completely, but they were staunch Southstanders.
Right.
His dad was not a fan of Liam Farrell, which made for an interesting conversation. There was a bit of back and forth there. He sort of started to have a go about Farrell's behaviour and stuff, pointing out the when he got sin-binned for swearing at the referee, and I said, yeah, no, you're right, he was totally out of order. He was stood next to the referee and swore, not directly at the referee, but about the referee's decision. So yeah, it was totally out of order, and he got the right level of punishment. At least he didn't walk up to the referee's face, swear right in his face 2 or 3 times, and then get a round of applause as he walked off, like your player Danny Maguire did, sort of thing. So
to which he offered you out, and you sorted it out like gentlemen.
I felt like we had a suitable balance there as it was addressed. No, it was great. It was great fun, and
poor old Richard just sort of sipping his pint quietly between you.
Hey, he treated me nice. He did.
I'm sure.
3 pints on Rich. I got.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a record. I think. I don't think anyone's bought us 3 pints without reciprocation.
That's superb.
I was honoured. I kept trying to buy a beer back, but it wasn't to be had. And
Wow.
No, we chatted about all things rugby league. To be honest, one of the news stories we'll get onto later. The Jack Walker situation at Leeds. We spoke at length about that. His dad had some really good viewpoints that I'd not really thought of necessarily about how much his head had been turned and that sort of stuff. We'll get onto that sort of stuff later on. And the talking about old games and people we knew through the sport and all that sort of stuff. It was a great hour and a half to hour and 45 or so that I spent with them. It was a really good time spending time with good rugby league fans. It was fantastic. It was really good stuff. And then his dad was talking about I think his dad's name was Dave. God, I might have got that wrong too. Was talking about he's going over to the World Cup this year and talking about memories of the last World Cup down under and the different trips they did. And then we were talking about just games have gone by and how he used to work with James Child when James Child was younger, and talking about what a nice young man he was, and just a wide range of rugby league topics. It was fantastic. Then I I chewed Rich's ear off a little bit about his DJing career,
right?
Because I didn't really understand that you could make money out of it. I just thought it was
a DJ.
A little bit, yeah. Like I just thought it was kind of. He went off on his jollies a few times to places, but he explained how the whole thing worked, and it was more like he was a producer.
I see,
and was supplying like the vinyl mixes, I guess, for people, and then doing a bit of the DJ and stuff himself and stuff. But he was, he sounded like he did quite well about it, and that's how he met his now wife. Yeah, so it was all great chat, great stories. It was really nice. It was like meeting someone you've known for a long time, even though we'd never met before, which is because Rich has been on board since, I'd say, late Series 1, was it?
Very early days, yeah. Definitely, he'll correct us if we're wrong on that one.
Late Series 1 or early Series 2, I'm sure, but maybe even earlier than that.
When did he do the first lot? Because didn't he do the music for Series 2? Or was it for Series 3 he did the first set? Because he did music, because we've got the music now.
The music we used for him. We've had 2 series of his
Yeah.
music, but yeah, maybe it was the first year. Certainly, like he was trying to remember how he came about the podcast and stuff. But yeah, it was fantastic. It was great.
That's phenomenal. Absolutely.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Quiet week, mate. Been at work. That's been it. Kept my fucking head down. That's exactly what I've done this week. Normal week at work, and then a family weekend with Emma and the kids and pottering around. And then on Sunday, a bit of a minor catastrophe with Erin at a birthday party on a bouncy castle where she is. I won't go into the minutiae of it, but she's hurt her ankle pretty badly. An exceptionally bad sprain, including some ligament pulling and damage and bruising and potentially a minuscule break as well.
How's she feeling about the whole thing?
She was made up for the first until I tried to put her to bed tonight. She's been absolutely buzzing off it because of all the attention and what have you, and hopping about the place. She got a bright pink cast on her leg and what have you. Touch wood, I'd only just literally finished. As you walked in tonight, I was telling her good night.
Yeah.
And touch wood, she hasn't cried out or kicked off or what have you. It did hearken me back to the days of her infancy last night when I had to go and lift her to the loo and stuff. Bless her, to help her move about a bit.
Yeah.
But it's quite nice.
Did it make you feel more sort of engaged as dad?
Well, no, I never don't feel engaged as her father, mate.
She's not outgrown it yet.
No, not at all. I'm an active and very involved parent, Mark. I have her 50% of the time. I'll not have you besmirch my involvement with my daughter.
I don't mean in terms of
no, it was.
I mean in terms of her being a lot more self-reliant these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she apparently a sprained ankle means you can't wipe your own arse. I struggle to understand the explanation as to why. It just means that.
But it's nice, isn't it?
It's nice to be Superman to your little girl. Of course it is. It's lovely. And to be fair to her, she's been very good. And we've watched Disney films and we've snuggled and... Yeah, let's put it this way. She was so sufficiently well taken care of that by 9:30 last night she was on the couch watching PJ Masks and eating Haribos. So it's far from the end of the world. She's been a very brave little girl.
Any Haribos left? No.
No, she got a packet of Haribos and she's eating them, Mark. Can't have them in. You know me and food. I can't have it in. If I've got it in, it gets eaten. Yeah. A tube is a portion, as far as I'm concerned. So if you've got a packet of biscuits, so that's a portion. So that's what I can't have it in.
Basically, whatever it is a portion. If it's a tub of quality street.
My Emma, yeah, pretty much. My Emma rolls her eyes at me because she gets so annoyed. She comes around here when there's like, because you go to Emma's house and there's like spices and stuff in the freezer and oils and herbs and snacks and crisps and things lying around, and that is like fucking not something I could have here because you know me and she knows me now. I'd eat it, but then she comes around and she's like, "Have you got any?" Let's say, for argument's sake, paprika. No. So
because she'd just think, that's a portion of paprika. I'll drink the whole.
But she despairs of what she calls my caveman lifestyle. The longer my relationship goes on with the more convinced I am she sees me as like this rescue bulldog that she basically has had to nurse into sort of.
Wow, have you managed to bullshit her?
Some sort of health. But so I'm not entirely sure. So that was my weekend really. Erin has been the main kind of focal point, but she's doing all right now. If she cries out, then we'll take care of her and crack on with the podcast. But it's a long time since baby crying has disturbed the podcast. We're going back to like season 1.
Well, she takes priority if she needs looking after.
Ah, fuck her, she's all right. She can hop.
Is that her now?
She can hop to the back. Yeah, what, peering through the door? Yeah. You say what, Dad? No, that's not her now.
Shall we
crack on and see who's been getting in touch this week, Mark?
Yeah, well, you might not know what some of these things are on about because you didn't listen to my...
I couldn't bring myself, like we were saying before. The guilt was too much, so I think I can't.
So, I talked about... a few people mentioned some refereeing performances in positive light. I talked about how I thought Gareth Hewer handled the Swinton against Dewsbury game very well, even though both sets of fans disagreed.
Yeah.
David Powell at St David 2911, he said he got in touch. I thought Ben Thaler had a very good game in the Saints game last Sunday. # we need refs. Fat Boy Rob got in touch, who was very helpful to me during the week and offering to help if you were not pulling. He said, while we're being...
Do you know what? I think actually now I feel like you've got all these side bays knocking about, ready to swoop in. Like Beyonce has to look after Jay. Am I going to be writing a song about Fat Boy with the good hair and stuff? Is that what's going on? Am I Beyonce writing fucking like back off bitches? He's mine.
Well, no, we're okay. But Rob was. I just wanted to sing. Rob was one of the people who was
No, of course,
very helpful.
Yes.
He said, while